Hi everybody. Okay, you can notice that I'm in some kind of series with the videos I'm making here, and I'll probably just make one more or two more videos on the subject matter. So today I'm talking about how do you know you're right, or who's right and who's wrong. So I shuffled the cards and I got the Nine of Wands again, but this time I got it inverted. Um, And at first I didn't want to use the card because we've already discussed the card, but maybe there's some lesson we can learn from the inverted card. So, when you look at the man in the card, here's the picture. Okay, so when you look at the man in the card, when it's inverted, it seems he has been uh, uh, fixing the wands in the ground, and he's carrying the wand with him. But when it's inverted, perhaps the man is not ready um, to do something positive like in my previous video, but maybe he's on his way to do something negative. Okay, so maybe he's emerging from the wands, and in my previous video I said it's your upbringing and all the things that you have that helps you in life. And that in my previous video I also said um, the man hid behind the wands. That was about pride and conflict. But now maybe the man is emerging with a different agenda. He's emerging not to live his or practice what he preached, but maybe he's out to seek more conflict. And he's already in bad shape. So we wonder how wise that would be. And something interesting, when I was studying at university, um, something stuck in my mind. The ancient Greek word for wand or baton, but maybe more wand, is rhabdos. And you had a term that they called for the police uh, staff carriers. So in this case, I wonder, do we carry our staffs, um, our good knowledge to beat people up, or are we using it to heal people? Right. So maybe when the card is inverted, you forget about what's right and wrong, or who's right or wrong, and you just drop all the wands, the one in your hand, the ones you've been stacking up in life. Maybe they are your victories of uh, what you've learned, but you're not using them right. So maybe you just drop everything. Maybe you don't stack the wands or fix them in holes in the ground. Maybe you just break everything down, put everything down, and forget about who's right or who's wrong. I'm just talking in general here. Of course, I know it's not applicable for every situation. Every kind of conflict has its unique ability, but many times in relationships between friends, family, even employers at workspace, uh, we can to a certain degree say, yes, if you're wrong, you need to fix your problem. But sometimes it gets convoluted, and um, it's in the end we're taking a stance and we're not talking to each other anymore, or we're hurting each other because we're right. But they say um, a situation always has two sides. So how do you know you're not the one that's wrong? Or maybe we're both wrong. So maybe if you can just drop the notion, and this phrase came to me, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What matters is what we do next. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Are we going to hide behind the fact that we're right and curtail or end relationships and friendships just because we're right? And maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line, you suddenly realize, but well, I was wrong. You're right. Or maybe we were both wrong. And then it's too late. So maybe it's good to draw upon your upbringing when it calls upon you to practice your principles in the when it matters, because otherwise your principles and ethics really is just a trophy in your on a shelf, and it doesn't do anything. So let's use what we've learned and remember um, what to do next. So the logical thing I think to do next when there's a question about who's right or wrong is forget about who's right or wrong. And I actually like to make a video about compassion and forgiveness as well. Okay, because what you do next is what's important. I mean, if the person truly is uh, unreachable, or they won't listen to reason, you're trying to make things right and they won't. Give them time. Don't hammer on the fact that you're right, or don't do things that make the situation worse. Try doing something that makes the situation better. And if both people can realize it doesn't matter who's right or wrong, because what we value is our friendship, right? And that's more important than who's right and who's wrong. So what you do next perhaps is you give up on that, on your feelings and uh, who's right and who's wrong. You give up on that and you say, okay, this has happened. Now it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. We move forward now. Um, so that's what you do next. But if you're going to wallow in self-pity or anger, if you're going to deepen yourself in anger and so on, it's not going to solve the situation. Okay, that's all from me. Have a nice weekend. Cheers.